Huge. And that clubhouse was a thriving recovery center until Gardner suddenly got sick from the tuberculosis he'd contracted in prison and died. And by the way, with him, that club died, which is part of the history that I want to weave to you about any of these societies that are organized around a single charismatic figure have a very precarious existence. But through his influence, when Jerry got out of prison, like a lot of people, he had a conversion in prison. And then when he got out, he began immediately drinking and had another couple of conversions before it really stuck. And one of those conversions, he had a vision. And his vision was of a physical place where people as depraved as himself could come and be physically and emotionally and spiritually cleaned up and be afforded the kind of opportunities for religious salvation that he had experienced. And what he did was he made that vision a reality. He opened the Water Street Mission in New York City, what will later be called Hell's Kitchen in New York City, one of the most, sort of the Bowery or Skid Row of some of today's cities. That marks the beginning of churches in the United States developing specialized ministries to alcoholics. And we're going to get strong recovery mutual aid groups pairing with those early missions. And they're going to go all the way up through some of my personal favorites that include the United Order of Ex-Boozers and the Harlem Club of Former Alcoholic Degenerates. And that's right around the first decade of the 20th century. To the right, in 1880, we're going to get the Salvation Army come to the United States. And they also are going to cater a very special message to the chronic public inebriate in urban communities. The picture is, you'll see the woman here. These were what they called Salvation Army lassies, who would daily walk out into the Bowery and engage these men in late stages of alcoholism and invite them to come back to the missions. And this was probably, if we want to know where are some of the first outreach workers in the United States, that's it right there. The early treatment institutions, I wanted to at least give you a little visual of what these look like. On the left, Dr. James Turner was a physician in the Civil War, had a vision of this growing alcohol and drug problem in the United States. And he created a proposal for a United States Inebriate Asylum and actually registered that name, began to procure funding support for that. And he was never able to get enough support for a national treatment center. But he did get enough to create this. This is the New York State Inebriate Asylum. He simply lowered his horizons, created this private statewide facility. What do you think of that facility for 1864 as a treatment facility in the United States?